Hi, welcome. I'm Mara. I share with you all kinds of crap, and this is part of a series called RVM Mirror, where I share my story, my journey, and information and questions that I gathered up in my journey of childhood trauma and all that comes with it. Just to let you know ahead of time, this is what this channel or this series is about. So anything of what I say and will say can be triggering in any form. If you encounter an area or something that you cannot handle, please stop the video, skip to the next video in the series if you're still interested. Give yourself some time, take a step back. You can always come back if you feel ready for it. Quick overview. I was sexually abused by 2 members of my family and a group of so-called friends. The first time I can remember I was 4. The last time I can remember I believe I was 16, 17. During that time there was continuous situations that the trust and the dependency that I had put, especially on those 2 family members, got betrayed and used. That does not stay without consequences for my later adolescent, young adult, and adult life to this point now, and I'm pretty sure I will die with the consequences at some point at the end of my life. As a child, I was not aware first that the things that were happening were wrong. That is due to the nature of how it is being approached, how children get groomed into situations. And I did not realize things were not correct. They felt wrong all the time, but that was not something that everybody encounters until later on. The first time, I believe, when I was 10-ish, and I was not able to stop it until I was in my teens. Now, there were 2 distinct areas in my life where from about age 4 till about age 10, 11, it was one perpetrator, and then after that was another until I was 16, 17. Those were 2 different dynamics, and I have 2 different feelings towards those perpetrators. Some of my alters do not share that sentiment. A lot of times that is flipped. And now you heard me say the word alter. That brings me to all those diagnoses and symptoms and illnesses that come with it. But before I get to that, I was not aware of what had happened, really aware until I was much older. Things started getting a little bit more from subtle impacts. Subtle is not really the right word here, but for me, seemingly subtle impacts in my life, like being distracted, being told I don't listen, I said and did things that I do not remember, I'm not paying attention, I'm spacing out. I always thought I had low blood sugar because all of a sudden, out of the blue, my heart would race and my hands would shake. Things like that. So it took me a while, and by the time I started making connections to what could have happened, I had a phone call with my mother that consisted of a very short conversation, me asking did it happen and her saying yes. So from that point on, I started making more connections and thinking I was the most resilient person in the world because it didn't really affect me until everything came crashing down when one of the perpetrators died, and that opened the floodgates for a lot of things that caused me to completely crash, lose my job, lose my ability to work, got me hospitalized, and had like a whole flood of ramifications. I am now in the process of learning about this, working with this, understanding it, and getting somewhere. I am in my second round of therapy with a second therapist. I also get ergotherapy, which is something I'll explain down the line. I have a psychiatrist that apparently doesn't get what I'm telling him. Also get there down the line. I have been diagnosed with PTSD because CPTSD is not getting diagnosed here in my country yet, because we have just moved from ICD-10 to ICD-11 and the system has not been changed. And in ICD-10, complex PTSD does not show up. So right now I'm diagnosed with just regular PTSD with everything that entails, plus a lot of autoimmune issues. I have dyshydronic eczema on my hands, as you can see, which gets a lot worse when certain other things are happening. I have thyroid issues. I have hypothyroid, which is Hashimoto's or not. Nobody can decide, depending on what you look at. At the same time, I also got diagnosed with DID not that long ago, which is dissociative identity disorder, or as people used to know, multiple personality. This is my short story right now. It's really hard to pack that into one video and not make it like, I don't know, 3 hours long. If you made it to here, welcome, thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next videos. And if there's anything out of the spectrum that or out of the information that I just gave you, that you would like to know more about, or anything that has anything to do with that, feel free to put that in the comments, and I will make sure I will include it in a video or make a video about it if I'm able to. I will definitely let you know if that is the case. So thank you for listening. Thank you for seeing. And I see you in the next one. Already starting again. It's the second time I'm recording this. Got